Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Gardens Grow.
If it ever looks like a pig's snout has been rooting in your yard, most likely it's an armadillo. They can surely make your lawn look terrible. You can see where they got some over on the edge of this, and the rest of it looks good until they came back over here and took over looking for grubs. In a previous post, I was telling you how pretty my little orange coneflower was, and then I found these. Look, they're so gorgeous. They're a prettier shade of orange than the other one that I had. So I'm hoping it will do well. It's new, of course. I purchased it, I think, at a Lowe's the last time I went to the city, but it's just amazing. My sister Rosie has one of these, and I've admired it before. So pretty, and they're reminiscent of fall, and who is not looking forward to fall? At least a gardener, any gardener that's not looking forward to fall after this every hot summer's heat. I just can't imagine. These are the strawberry fields, and they're just coming along and looking great in this heat. But of course, a lot of things are looking like this in this heat. And then this gardener has not got out here and cleaned it all up because it's just too hot for me. And I used to get out here in this heat. I never did like it, but I did it. But now I just can't do it. It just will make me pass out. I just can't do it. So I'm going to have to wait, and I had to wait last year. And then when fall comes, you want to just enjoy it and know you've got all these chores you have to do before you can really enjoy it. Kind of like trying to relax in your home because you're so tired. But if you don't have it cleaned up first and you sit down there to relax, it's just screaming at you. You can't have a moment's peace. My friend Ruby put these brick on here one day for me, and I have left them on there or replaced them on there. Our winds have actually gotten up so high they've blown my little set over, even with the brick on them. But it works wonderfully for a lighter wind to just keep them anchored to the ground. So I thank her for that idea. That's a wonderful idea. Look at this beautiful castor bean now. Isn't it beautiful? You see, I have a pretty elephant ear there too. So it's getting water where everything is getting plenty of water. It looks pretty good. And these little ones are growing up. These that I finally got started in here, and so hopefully before frost comes they'll be big and blooming. I did notice that some of the ones that I planted around just on the ground, mostly to prevent weeds from coming up, are blooming now. Did I tell you we caught the 5th raccoon in our garden? And so we actually took some spray paint and sprayed a little tiny spot on him just to make sure we're not catching the same one over and over, because of course we catch and release, but it just doesn't seem like 5 raccoons would find our backyard. but maybe they do. My husband says it's probably because it's damp and cool and lots of vegetation, so maybe we'll see. Look at these pretty zinnias this morning. Of course, some of them look like this one. I've got to get out here and trim these off, and I want to bring a little bucket or something with me and save some of these for seed for next year.
I was going to tell you that we named that little raccoon Chanel after Chanel number 5. Did I do something wrong?
I clipped this coleus away from my little decor piece, but I should have just kept on clipping because look at this. It's just getting bigger and taller. And sometimes I think these are beautiful like that, but sometimes I just think I need to trim them to make them a little more the size of the rest of the plants in there. I'm not sure what I'll do. It's kind of pretty like that, but it kind of would look better if you could just see it all at once, I think, without having to look under the coleus. Look at this beautiful lantana. It really did turn out to be pretty. And this little purple splash pepper is still trying, and this pretty double petunia is also looking good. I love this pretty little verbascum. This is a beautiful color. I think I love the pale yellow. It's one of my favorite colors. And then I love how that little dusky dark little center just highlights it so prettily. And all my little sedums are putting their buds on, so soon they will open. So actually fall does have its wonders in the garden too, and I love it all, but I cannot handle this heat very well, and I'm so ready for better days in the garden. I saw a snake skin here when I was watering. I don't know how long they have to lay in place for them to shed their skin, but evidently I've been walking past this one. At least he's about 3 foot away from my path. So, and I don't know if you can see it there, but there's definitely a skin laying there. In my little 3-tiered pot, it hasn't looked so good. I mean, it's okay. It's kind of pretty actually, but it needs some color. It needs some pretty colorful blooms in with here. Of course, when we started, we had some calabachoa and the pretty bright blue lobelia in this little section of it, and the calabachoa is still there. That doesn't mean it'll be there till the end of this month, but I'm hoping it will. I'm hoping when the cooler weather comes, it'll put back on all of its pretty bloom. For the most part, I have just stopped wearing my flip-flops out in the garden. unless I'm just coming out to turn the water on. And of course, it's a good idea to bring the camera because you might see a hummingbird or something that you didn't want to miss. So here I am. I came out just to turn the water on, and I'm still doing this. But it's pretty this morning a little bit. Actually, it's I also had to move that so you could see that little raccoon. Talking about raccoons earlier, but I would sure hate to meet up with a snake out here in my flip-flops, and I certainly don't ever want to be bit by one. Actually, I pray that no one will get bitten, including myself in my garden. And I have started wearing my boots. I wear my rubber boots out here all the time now when I'm watering or actually working, doing something other than just taking pictures. But truly, if it can make it through the summer, the fall is the prettiest time in the garden because it has its full growth and all the coleus are shining their bright, beautiful color. This is another one like the one that is in the back that I just showed you that's overgrown. All of these are somewhat overgrown, but sometimes that's pretty. And I love my black sweet potato vines, but I still think they would be prettier if I had some color mixed where it would kind of flow in with that pretty dark, almost black not coleus, but sweet potato. My little zigzag plant is finally beginning to take off and go. And look at these peppers. Oh my goodness, they were just a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a week ago, and now they're just taking over this whole pot. I thought they would probably blend in with the other things, but they're kind of just taking over the other things, as well as in this little basket. But so much of the garden has done kind of like this gardener and just played out. Can't seem to go any farther, and it needs to be taken out of there. Just clipped back, not taken out, because I'll leave the root to come back again next year. Sometimes we have a little bit better luck with our tall phlox, and a lot of it will stay on close to frost, but it all seems to go away actually before my last little get together thing, unless there's a few scraggly ones like this, but sometimes I leave just for the color to be in the garden. But you know, it won't be long till mums, you can see there's a few blooming in this one, but they'll be open and we'll have our fall color. I can see that my bacopa is failing. I hope it can make it and put those pretty blue blooms on again. This one is blue. They make it in white and a mauve pink, and it's all beautiful. My double petunias have not liked this heat either, but they're still going, so maybe we'll still have some. I know they're like me in that they are looking forward to cooler weather. And this little fan flower, it's still going strong. I can't believe it. I know other people can do this, but I have not usually get these to last, not been able to get these to last that long. And even the calabachoa actually is still looking alive. It doesn't maybe look great, but it's looking alive. And that just thrills me that I've got some. It's a chance for, if they can make it to fall when the weather is cooler, they will perk up and look beautiful, but they may not make it. Like this gardener, sometimes I wonder, am I going to make it? And we used to have a maple tree here, which we get some shade from the house, but you can tell this little vine has not done well at all. It's nipped by that heat. Just like this gardener has not done well at all in this heat. But we're looking toward fall, and there's signs of it everywhere. So we're going to do like this little scripture verse says, and make a joyful noise unto the Lord. This is my concoleus, and it too is just going crazy, but I love it to get big. It has these big old beautiful leaves anyway, unless of course the grasshoppers do that to it. So I'm doing a little experimenting here. I laid some of the, oh gosh, now I don't know what you call this. It's like a plastic. It's something that I'm hoping that Armadillo will not enjoy walking through, and so that maybe he won't come back over here and do this to my yard so much again. There's plenty of it there still, of course, but he can definitely tear it up worse if he wants to. But I'm hoping that it will deter him. This little tomato vine did great for me, but there's no tomatoes on it. And then there's this tomato. I talked to my sister Clara one day this week, and she said hers is doing the same thing, just burning up, and the grasshoppers getting what life was there. Our dad had a beautiful garden, and he fed all of us kids on it. But even Daddy had a hard time getting tomatoes to grow for him. I really feel like it was because he only had, you pumped the water into a bucket, carried the buckets over to the garden, and put that water on them. So can you imagine? My way of doing it is primitive, but his way was even harder. I don't know how he did it, but you know, those people from that era, they did a whole lot. It might not have seemed like it because they didn't have the modern day conveniences, but with what they had, they did probably more than we can do with the conveniences we have. Tough, ingenuitive, integrity, they had it all. So as much fun as this part of what I do is, and it is fun to talk with you. It's fun to just imagine that you're enjoying the garden right along with me. And I do enjoy it when it's pretty enough, when the weather is pretty enough to enjoy it. Look at this beautiful chocolate plant. But I must go inside. I have so much to do. I did find someone to help me with some of my computer problems, which is wonderful. So wonderful. I guess I felt like Helen Hunt's character and her mother when the doctor came to help them, and they were just wanting to hug and kiss on him. They were so happy. So, sometimes people do come into our lives and make our lives better, take a hard situation away and make it something we can handle. And that's a wonderful feeling when that happens in our lives. And that movie, of course, was as good as it gets. Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt, which I really like it. I know there's some places that I don't care for, but the storyline of it is really good. Or the little things inside the storyline of it, something about it is good, I think. So, but anyway, I must go in. I am working on I told you I was going to make movies for my family to keep the old pictures that I'm the only one that have some of, and I have been. I had 5 to make when I started, and now I am on my 4th one. So there's no telling how long it will take, because it depends on how the flow of the movie goes, and if it turns out where I can if I can go fast on it, of course I will, but sometimes it's just like writing a book. You're going to have a little bit of writer's block, or a little bit of how am I going to put this together to get the message across and all that stuff. But it's coming along, and if I can just have the time. Of course, the other thing is that life interferes and takes your time away from you for doing that, because you have to keep right on going with the other things in life. So we'll see how it will, how soon or how late it might be before I get them done. But I'm keeping going, and that's wonderful right there. It was hard to get them started because I knew they were going to be so demanding of time and thought, but it's okay because they're wonderful, and my family are going to love them, and I'm just excited about that, because I love my family. So I'll see you next week. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel.